as if teasingly dangling it before me. You dangle something else before me, why don't you? Hello, and welcome to Who Murdered My Empress. This is a romance visual novel game in which you find yourself as a notorious empress after time traveling back into a fantasy world inspired by 19th century Vietnam. However, the most shocking thing is, you suddenly have 4 very hot husbands. Let's get started. Man, the opening looks so good already. Oh my god. All the husbands are so hot. Oh god. People in Viet believe there exists an invisible red thread that binds you to certain people, whether in love or animosity. No matter how hard you may strive to break its hold, it will guide your souls back together, even in another life. Are you ready to hold onto the red thread of destiny to unveil the truth about our own fate? These effects are so cool. 200 years after the murder, 2045, May 25th, 2045. Early sunlight gently filters through the police office blinds. I arrive at work early today and have already been deep into work for a couple of hours. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee and cigarette smoke wafts through the air, mingling with the sounds of paper shuffling and keyboards clacking. The vibration from a text jolts me out of my focus. I take a pause from typing my previous case report and reach for my phone. You better behave on that date with the man I set you up with tonight. It's time for you to start dating and building a family. I narrow my eyes at the bright phone screen. For the past few months, my aunt has been persistent in setting me up on dates with various men. Annoyed as I am, I can't say no to her. Is that your aunt? Dao peers over my shoulder and looks at my phone screen. Dao and I have been best friends since middle school, and we graduated from police college together. Well, at least best friends is how Dao often describes our friendship. I'm not fond of people in general, and prefer spending time alone rather than making friends. But Dao has been following me like a tail since middle school, and I've grown to tolerate her presence. Now we're both police officers in the District 1 police station. After letting the thick, bitter gulp of coffee run down my throat, I let out a big sigh, the rush of caffeine shooting through my chest strangely calming my mind. Yeah, she's making me go on an arranged date again. Who's the lucky guy this time? Who cares? I made it clear to her so many times I'm not interested in dating anytime soon, even though I agreed with my aunt to go on the date so she would stop rushing me about it. I will find a way to sabotage it just like I did with the last date. Come on, don't start with the I'm too busy with work thing again. Dao's lips curl into a pout to tease me. It's not just that. Don't you think dating is overrated? What do you gain out of it anyway? I never understood the pressure of finding a partner. Mandatory social interactions, such as work parties or meeting up with the family, are burdensome enough, let alone dating someone. Besides, life has so much more to offer besides relationships. The world would be a better place if more people were more focused on solving the world's problems. Here we go again, the forever doubtful, cynical Mai. How do you know relationships are overrated if you never had a relationship? You better go on that date, old lady. I shoot daggers at Dao across the desk with my eyes. Stop talking and go grab me another cup of coffee. Hey, I'm your best friend and your co-worker, not your maid. You grab it yourself. As Dao sticks her tongue out at me teasingly, the sound of heavy footsteps and a familiar voice echoes from the front door. Maybe going on dates would benefit you, Mai. The large shadow of our chief officer looms over the dark tiled floor as he steps in. Morning, Chief. He stops by my desk, pushing his golden framed glasses up his nose. Mai, your evaluation for this quarter just came in. Please come into my office. I quietly nod and follow him. The moment I close the door behind me, the chief officer slams a thick stack of paper onto the table and flips through it in front of me. Look, you score perfectly on every single test. Stress endurance, critical thinking, and problem solving. As expected. These results come as no surprise. I demonstrated diligence during my time at the police academy, and have continued to put in significant effort at work over the past year. I have complete confidence in my abilities. But Mai, just as I'm about to flash a smug smile, the chief officer lets out a deep sigh. Your empathy and emotional assessment results are concerning. According to the test, your scores for self-awareness of your own emotions and understanding others' emotions are quite low. Furthermore, your baseline empathy seems to be lacking. My gaze flicks upward, not again. I respectfully disagree with results, sir. I believe the test design itself is at fault. I have no problem with emotions. I raise my finger to gesture air quotes. I don't understand why emotional assessment is even a part of this test. On field, it's crucial to maintain a rational and analytical mindset. As long as I follow the clues and the principle of deduction, I can solve any case. Besides, with my almost photographic memory, I can recognize people's body language just fine. I have no idea why the test results always come out like that. The chief officer slumps on his chair and looks at me through his eyebrows, his voice serious. My, if you truly aspire to excel in this line of work, logic alone is not sufficient. You're a police officer after all. You must be able to understand the emotions of individuals around you to handle different situations. There exists a distinct boundary between analytical thinking and a deficiency in emotional awareness. The latter can lead one closer to criminal mindset. Do I need to enroll you in additional training with a psychiatrist? Man, what type of person am I? I look down at the floor, not sure how to respond. Alright, enough reprimanding from me. I know you're a good kid and you do your job well, but you better get that score up in the next quarter. As for this morning, let's onboard you for this new case. He pulls out a stack of photos from a thick folder on the desk. This is the third museum break-in in the city in the past month. The culprit has targeted specific showcases but hasn't taken anything yet. It seems as if they're searching for something. However, we have no video evidence as they managed to disable the cameras prior to entry. I take a look at the photos spread out on the table. Photos seemingly pulled from a museum's artifact log of different antique objects, ranging from vases, clothing, and jewelry. Judging by the pattern and material of the object, they probably belong to the early 19th century. What do you think their motive is? Not sure if this is just a prank or if they're looking for something specific to steal, but there is a connection. A connection? All the artifacts that they roamed through belong to Empress La Femme. Empress La Femme? I remember learning about her in school. Yes, the first and only female ruler of our nation. Her death became one of the country's most significant murder mysteries due to the destruction of most written records about the incident. I recall that some historian proposed a theory that she was assassinated by one of her male consorts, but there was insufficient evidence to definitively identify which one, or even back up the claim. Mai, can I trust you to lead this case? I received a lot of pressure from the press, as the artifacts associated with the Empress have become highly valuable. Pursuing my lips into a line, I give the chief officer a small but determined nod. Of course, chief, I won't let you down. The chief officer points his finger at me with a teasing grin. But don't work too late today, kiddo. Go on that date. I'll let you finish work early so you can get prepared. Oh, first my aunt, now him too. Before I can think of a witty comeback to show my annoyance, the sound of Dallas' boots stomping into the room shakes the floor. Boss! There's another museum break-in downtown. I wonder if this was the same suspect. How bold of them to rob a museum in the middle of the day. Standing up from his leather chair, the chief officer strides over and taps on the desk with 2 fingers. Mai, I need you to head over to the crime scene immediately. If the suspect is still there, call for backup and don't try and handle it yourself. Stay safe out there. I bet I'm gonna handle it myself and then I'm gonna get hurt. Nodding to him, I grab my keys. Yes, chief, I will. In brackets, a lie, I quickly drive to the museum. Getting out of the car, I take one last drag of my cigarette before crushing its glowing tip against the hard concrete pavement with the heel of my boot. Upon the nicotine kicking in, I stride to the entrance of the museum. The museum is closed for the day, and not a soul can be seen. No guard, no staff, no guests, and someone has shattered the glass entrance door. I cautiously step inside. An eerie silence envelops me. Something is unsettling about this. I dart around. For some reason, I sense that the suspect is still here. Boss said I shouldn't engage myself if I still think the suspect's here. Suddenly, my stomach tightens with thrill, as if an inexplicable force is pulling me towards the entrance, compelling me to step inside. This feeling. Scratch that. Since when do I listen to orders? I click my tongue, determined to investigate this place. As the broken white light flickers, I squint, struggling to discern the path ahead. I advance towards the inner exhibition. If the suspect is here, they must be in the main exhibition upstairs. In the hushed stillness of the main hall, a mere whisper of faint footsteps graces the wooden floor. At first they're barely perceptible, just like distant echoes floating in the air. But with every passing second they grow louder, sending a tingling sensation up the hair on the nape of my neck. Someone is here. Who's there? This is the police. I call out into the dark hallway, but no response comes except the clicking noise of the broken lamp on the ceiling. With my breath held, I pull out my gun, pointing it forward. I cautiously move forward into the corridor, following the faint sound of footsteps. Then, a voice echoes in the air, distant yet chillingly close. Finally, you've come. It's muffled and distorted, making it impossible to pinpoint the speaker's age or gender. My heart thumps wildly. I swing in a 360-degree angle, trying to trace the source of the sound around me. Show yourself. This is the police. Put your hands up and don't move. I demand, my voice steady but my nerves on edge. You think you can run away from fate? The voice taunts, sending a chill down my spine. I quickly reach for my radio to call for backup, but all I get is a buzzing noise. Suddenly, hurried footsteps in the room next door break the silence. Adrenaline courses through my veins as I give chase towards the door, determined to catch this elusive intruder. With my back pushed against the wall, I advance into the room with caution. You're destined to die. The voice continues, laughter echoing through the room as I follow it. I wince. Does this person know me? What do they mean? Stop talking nonsense. Surrender peacefully and we can make a deal. With my hand firmly holding the gun, I keep moving towards the source of the sound. That is just a bad idea. Only to find nothing but the glass exhibit cases, spreading all the way to the end of the hall as if they're swallowing me. How about you embrace your fate? The voice taunts again, this time sounding like it's right behind me. Startled, I spin around. There, just centimeters away, stands a figure cloaked in black with a conical hat obscuring their face. Ow! My eyes widen, my words trail off in shock. Uh-oh. I let out a faint murmur as a searing pain shoots through my body, my legs giving way beneath me and sending me crashing to the ground. The gun slips from my fingers as my body goes numb with a dull, aching cold. I look down to my chest where I see a sharp object protruding from my shirt. My hand trembles as I reach to touch it, feeling a warm wetness spreading over my skin and staining my clothes a deep shade of red. Did I get stabbed? Despite being in a state of panic, fueled by adrenaline, I'm acutely aware that the stab wound is dangerously close to my heart, and in just a few seconds, the world shifts around me. My hand moves too slow to catch the fleeing figure, my senses dulling as my body begins to drag me down. A drone-like hum buzzes in my skull, drowning out the noise of the world around me. I strain to glimpse at the suspect, but the big hat conceals their identity. In the edge of my vision, a flicker of red light illuminates the wound on my body. My wound is glowing. This object. The last image I'm able to capture is the shape of the object that stabbed me. It's a hair stick. My eyelids grow more and more heavy as the darkness completely takes over. Woohoo! Yay, I died! There it is. There it is, it's all over now. Your Majesty! My ears ring with the muffled sound of voices around me. Your Majesty! At first, I can't make out what they're saying, but my senses gradually return. The voices become clearer and more distinct. Did I die? I furiously blink to chase the blinding white light in my vision away. Your Majesty, you're awake! The soft silky texture of the fabric underneath me gives it away that I'm lying on a bed. My body feels heavy and my mind is still groggy, but I can make out the shape of a group of people standing and looking down at me from above. Pray to the Jade Emperor, the Empress is awake! Are they talking to me? I dart my eyes around, as my first instinct is to assess whether or not I'm in danger, but it doesn't seem so. Their anxious expressions become more obvious as my vision sharpens. The strange men are obstructing my view of the room, but still, I manage to take a glimpse of the ceiling, which has some wooden trim and a tilted roof. This doesn't look like a normal room. This is not a hospital. They don't look like doctors. Is this heaven? What happened? Where have you been, Your Majesty? Your Majesty? Why do they keep calling me that? Am I in one of those reality shows? I peer over their shoulder and at the golden mirror near the bed, and blink at the image of myself, still dressed in my police uniform. Who are you? Your Majesty, we're your royal doctors. Royal doctors? You suddenly disappeared 3 days ago. Consort Dan Tong organized and led a search for you for 3 days straight, and you appeared unconscious this morning near the river. We were so worried for you. I exchanged a concerned look at my outfit, damp and covered with dirt and bloodstains. But also, what are you wearing, Your Majesty? They're clearly mistaking me for someone else. Your Majesty, you're finally awake! Hey, you're finally awake! I lift my gaze up to see a familiar face running into the room. Dao stands there, dressed in a similarly strange historical outfit, her eyes teary. Dao, what prank are you playing? Is this a reality show or something? I swing up to a seated position and grab her shoulder. What are you talking about, Your Majesty? I'm Lan, I'm your maid. I was so worried about you. Dao's body tenses in my grab, her eyebrows almost touch her forehead. Not funny, Dao. Tell me what's going on. I bet there's a camera crew right outside. Biting my lip, I prop myself up from the bed and drag my exhausted body out of the room. I need to see what kind of movie set I'm in right now. As I step outside, my jaw almost drops. What on earth? There's no camera crew or director. I rub my eyes at the sight in front of me. Huge buildings with yellow curved roofs. Where am I? I look back at the group of people and everyone is looking at me concerned. Your Majesty, what if this is not a prank? Your Majesty, I failed at ensuring your safety 3 days ago. I deeply regret my carelessness as you suddenly vanished during our walk. Please punish me accordingly, for I am unworthy to continue living in your service. I narrow my eyes, attempting to study the girl before me. Something feels off. It is true that this is the face of my friend Dao. The shape of her eyes, the contour of her face, but upon closer inspection it becomes apparent that this is not her. The absence of the distinctive beauty mark atop her nose, an unmistakable mark of identity, shatters any doubt. How can someone bear such a striking resemblance to Dao? Is this a mere coincidence? What is it that you say my name is again? The strange men quickly drop down on their knees in front of me in their loose robes. They keep bowing over and over again, hitting their heads on the floor continuously as if they're scared of what I said. We beg you not to toy with us. You are Empress Lafemme, the heaven god's daughter, the ruler of Davia. Empress Lafemme. We know we deserve to die for not finding you sooner, but please spare our peasant lives. Isn't that the Empress whose artifacts got roamed through in my case? And the suspect? A sharp pain hums in my skull as I try to make sense of what just happened. One moment ago I was in the museum and the next I'm here in this weird place. I look around. The expressions of the men around me, as well as this place, feel so real. Did I time travel? I clutch my hand. There is no time dwelling on the pain. I have to remain calm and focused. They all seem to insist I am Empress Lafemme, so I either took over her body or I look exactly like her. If this is not a dream, and if the history books were accurate, the real Empress Lafemme will eventually be murdered, putting my own life in danger. I first need to make sense of what happened. The first task is now to pretend to be her and not create any chaos. Right. Sorry for keeping you all worried. A group of people still look at me with puzzled eyes. I will need time to myself to think about how to create the perfect cover. I feel like they're confused because Empress Lafemme probably is not as nice and polite as I am. I'm tired now. Let me rest. Of course, Your Majesty. They all bow and swiftly exit. I come back into the room and close the door behind me. I look around. The room is grand and spacious with high ceilings adorned with intricate carvings. The walls are painted in rich shades of red and gold. It feels like it is lifted straight out of a period drama. I could have ended up in a worse place. Rubbing my temples with my fingers, I sigh. Countless questions swirl inside me. I wish I had a cigarette. How did I come here, and where is the real Empress? If dying was how I got here, would dying here return me to my world? Furthermore, if I were to attempt at altering history, what unforeseen consequences might arise? Are there rules of time travel that must not be violated, akin to those depicted in movies? However, as strange as it sounds, I feel my pulse quicken at the thrilling thought. Is it that important to return home? Or is this my opportunity to solve the biggest murder mystery of the nation? Either way, I must conduct my investigation here without delay. But as I rise to my feet, my body gives way, succumbing to exhaustion from the events that have transpired. Recognizing the need to prioritize my well-being, I decide to take a moment to rest and allow my mind to wander freely before succumbing to sleep. Well, 219 days till the murder. I'm woken up by the loud creak of the door and the sudden intrusion of light piercing through my eyelids. Instinctively, my hand reaches out in search of my phone, only to discover its absence. Good morning, Your Majesty. I'm here to get you prepared. Your Majesty. Upon slowly opening my eyes, I realize what had happened yesterday was not a mere dream. The reality of my situation hits me hard as I look around the unfamiliar bedroom. This is not my room, but rather the room of an empress who lived centuries ago. The storm of questions slaps me again. Did I truly die? Did anyone look for me? I shrug half-heartedly. I doubt it. Anyway, no time for this yet. I need to stay focused. The only way to navigate through this time warp is to play her role to the best of my abilities. Prepare me for what? Maid Lan gives me a playful glance and then giggles. Your harem is waiting for you, Your Majesty. Did you know that the concubines were so worried about you? They've been lining up in the West Palace to greet you since early morning. So the history records are right. She does have a harem. Observing her harem and the people around her will be a great way to find out who she is, and even who might have the motive to harm her. How many husbands and boyfriends do I have? Looking down, I catch myself unconsciously picking at my cuticles as I contemplate the idea of meeting the men in her harem. The knowledge from history and television dramas warned me that harems were complex and potentially dangerous places, where every individual has his own agenda. With so many men gathering in one place, who knows what schemes and machinations they would set in motion? Can I maintain my cover? Your Majesty, let's get you dressed. Yes. It takes almost two hours for the maids to dress me in my attire and do my hair. She's very pretty though. Looking in the mirror, I barely recognize myself. I've never felt this heavy in my life, wrapped in multiple layers of dresses with large sleeves that fall down to my knees. The worst part is, I can't change by myself. I remain in a rigid position while the maids touch up my powder. I despise other people touching me. All of this etiquette must have been exhausting for the Empress. However, as I'm playing her role, I need to force myself to act normal. As the maids and guards escort me to the West Palace, I cannot help but gasp at the grandeur of the architecture. The palace is much larger than I could have imagined. There are buildings after buildings, each with curved roofs adorned with intricate ornate details throughout, using vibrant colors of red and yellow. The buildings are connected by a series of walkways and bridges, creating interconnected networks of stunning architecture. It's truly a breathtaking sight. Too bad I'm not on a tour. I'm here with a mission, a dangerous one indeed. Stepping into the main hall of the West Palace, my throat is dry as I grasp the sheer number of young men in this room. They're all dressed in intricately designed colourful attire with 19th century loose robes decorated with hand-sewn traditional symbols. The hair is long and meticulously done in different hairstyles. Ooh, the room is filled to capacity. Whoa, hey, yo, how many men are in here? These must be the Empress's concubines. In feudal eras, concubines were individuals who belonged to the ruler but did not hold any official marital or political status. The ruler possessed the privilege of engaging with them intimately at their discretion. Ooh, hey, yo. The concubines' burning gazes follow my every step on the path to the throne, making the air in my lungs feel tight. Their faces all perk up and exchange flirtatious looks with me as I walk by, some furtively, others more brazenly. My hand unconsciously pulls at my sleeves. As a policewoman, working with men is not new to me, but being surrounded by so many who appear to desire me is an entirely different experience. I clench my jaw, detesting myself for feeling this nervous. When I arrive at the stairs to the throne, my eyes are drawn to the three men who stand out from the sea of faces. They are seated closer to the throne than the others, indicating their elevated status. These must be the Empress's consorts. They all stand up when I approach. Also, can I just say that this man right here, so pretty. Like, I think Vu's my favorite. Consort Vu Huyen greets your Majesty. A man with delicate features saunters in front of me. His light-colored hair and amethyst purple eyes indicates he's a foreigner, indicates that he's gorgeous. With two hands placed together in the air, he lowers his head in a formal bow. His eyes look up at me through his eyelashes with a flirtatious smile. I was so worried about you. There was not a night I could sleep without knowing where you were. I can't help but notice the softness of his voice and the way he plays with his hair with his fingers. It's almost too feminine for a man, but he wears it with confidence. He is strikingly beautiful even for modern beauty standards. I furrow my eyebrow and clear my throat as I catch those thoughts. Kissing ass will not help you get promoted in the harem, Vu Huyen. You're merely a toy to her. The tall man, dressed in all black, abruptly cuts off Vu Huyen. His face frowns as he folds his arms across his chest, signaling his annoyance. I quickly scan him, noticing the words Consort Zui Khan engraved on his name tag. He probably snuck out to go have fun somewhere, huh? Zui Khan gives me a quick glance and rolls his eyes, his arms still crossed. It's strange that he's not following any palace greeting etiquette like Vu Huyen, even displaying disrespect towards the Empress. I spy like aren't there enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers kind of trope going on here? Consort Min Kwan greets your Majesty. I'm so happy you're back. I missed my wife. No, he calls me his wife. A man dressed in red runs towards me with a quick bow, but then quickly turns to Zui Kang with a smug glance. Zui Kang, don't be a hypocrite and call others toys. We all know what the Empress does to you at night. You, Min Kwan, lets out a boisterous laugh. His movements are bold and arrogant, suggesting a certain level of childishness. Zui Kang scoffs and shoots him an annoyed look. The two men lock eyes in a tense exchange, their gazes burning with animosity. I did not expect to witness so much drama on the first day that I'm thrusted into this world. Perhaps historical drama about harem fighting do not exaggerate things at all. In an instant, the thick red carpet beneath my feet quivers with fast-paced footsteps. A solemn and serious voice cuts through the air of tension like a dagger. Enough, both of you. Her Majesty has just recovered and you two are already fighting. Where is your dignity as consorts? This man's is hot. A man in white steps in between them, and a hush falls over the room. His serious and mature demeanor catches my attention immediately. Oh my god, he's gorgeous. His hair is neatly tied up in a traditional bun, revealing his chiseled jawline and adding to his scholarly appearance. The other consorts drop their gazes to the floor. I notice the high-ranking official designation on his name tag, which only adds to his air of authority. So this is Ban Tong. head of the harem who led the search for the Empress according to the royal doctors. Dan Tung is hot. Your Majesty, I apologize for their behavior on my behalf. I hope you feel better now. As Dan Tung approaches me, he makes a graceful bow with a tone of utmost politeness and respect. However, his facial expression is icy cold and his gaze is fixed on the ground instead of looking at me. I run my hands down my thighs, trying to hide the clamminess of my palms. These are the 4 men that are supposedly close to the Empress. How do I maintain my cover in front of them? Well, the first lesson about staying undercover as a police officer is to adopt the demeanor of your assumed role. I clear my throat, steadying my voice to speak up in a slow and clear manner. Consort Dan Tung, you were the one who led the search group to find me. For that I thank you. With 2 hands in front of his chest, Dan Tung bows again. You are the ruler of the country, the one our citizens depend on. I was merely carrying out my duty as consort. Through my eyelashes, I catch a glimpse of his face remaining emotionless. I gesture for everyone to sit down and the ceremony begins. Throughout the morning, a procession of concubines, royal members, court officials, and scholars file into the West Palace, greeting me individually. The court officials incessantly ask me all sorts of questions throughout the day. Everyone is eager to know why the Empress disappeared 3 days ago. Your Majesty, where have you been in the last 3 days? The court was so worried about you. To safeguard my true identity, I must respond with intentional vagueness. Perhaps I can use the excuse of a head injury affecting my memory. I ventured out for a leisurely stroll. Unfortunately, I misstepped and hit my head. I appreciate your concern regarding my well-being. As the ceremony nears its conclusion, I press my fingers gently against my temples, wincing as a throbbing pain pulsates in my forehead. The whole morning, I've been exerting myself by observing everyone that came to greet the Empress and mentally taking note of their appearances and demeanors. Besides Liu Kang's snappy attitude with his frequent sarcastic remarks, all interactions with these people seem to be outwardly positive and follow proper etiquette. Of course, it might be only on the surface. In the game of power and politics, anyone can have the motive to assassinate the Empress. As the gong sound marks the end of the ceremony, a huge sigh escapes my nostrils. My Empress, who would murder you? Oh, next chapter! Once the greeting ceremony concludes, I decide to take a leisurely stroll by myself before retiring to my chamber. It appears that there are no further engagements on my agenda for the day, providing me with an opportunity to acquaint myself with this vast palace. Knowing its layout and surroundings is essential to navigate through the days ahead. While wandering around, I can't help but admire the sheer size of the place. It's a labyrinth of buildings, each one more impressive than the last. In modern times, this palace has been transformed into a popular tourist attraction. However, it appears much larger than I remember from my childhood visit in my timeline. Perhaps over the years, the architecture has been altered and condensed. I bite my lips, contemplating the possibilities of my next moves. The entire palace is heavily guarded, with patrols changing shifts regularly. Escaping from here would be nearly impossible. If the Empress were to disappear again, the Imperial Court would mobilize search parties to find her. But beyond the security measures, I believe the key to unraveling the mystery of the time travel incident and the Empress's eventual murder lies right here in the heart of the palace. A fluttery feeling burns in my chest as the notion of her murder mystery comes up. I need to solve her murder mystery, whatever it takes. Now, the first question, is there a link between the Empress and myself? It seems evident that she bears a striking resemblance to me, or at least that is the perception others hold. But who is she truly, beyond her physical appearance? In my time, historical records about her are sparse, offering only glimpses of her notable accomplishments. My knowledge of her personal life remains limited. I wish there was internet in this world, things would be so much easier. Man, how I miss my phone. Perhaps I must go with a more traditional investigation approach here. There ought to be a royal library somewhere containing records that shed light on her background. And then can I go have a date with one of my husbands? What's that noise? Is that Peacock? A magnificent peacock adorned in a resplendent coat of deep emerald feathers dashes across my path. Stop there, you stupid bird! Oh, it's Min! Min Kwang, breathing heavily, fervently pursues the peacock. His rhythmic thumping of running footsteps sends the garden path into a frenzy of rustling leaves. Oblivious to my presence concealed behind a towering tree, he remains fixated on his pursuit. Why is he chasing after the peacock in the palace like that? What should I do? Let's follow him. Let's see what this is all about. With a vigilant gaze, I survey my surroundings, silently tailing Min Kwang in pursuit of the peacock, until a stern voice brings him to an abrupt stop. Swiftly, I seek refuge once more, concealing myself behind a wooden pillar. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Consort Min Kwang, what are you doing? Dan Tung stands in front of Min Kwang with his arms crossed, his eyebrow arched. Dan Tung, with all due respect, it's none of your business. Min Kuang lifts his gaze to the sky. It is. As the head of the harem, my responsibility is to make sure everything in the harem is in order. Well, I assure you everything is in order. Min Kuang glares at the peacock, who is now hiding behind Bantung. Bantung is hot as f***. I mean, like, they're all pretty sexy, but like, ugh, Bantung. Tell me, Min Kuang, why are you trying to steal a peacock from the palace? Are you aware that it's Her Majesty's property? How dare you make such a ridiculous accusation? I, Min Kuang, the only son of the richest merchant in the country, had to steal a peacock from the palace. I can have any beast in the world if I want to. Tilting his head, Bantung narrows his eyes. Oh, he looks hot when he's angry. His voice retaining its stern, icy tone. But this is not just any beast, is it? This is the peacock raised specifically to be an ingredient of a royal dish. It takes years of complex processes to raise one. I also have noticed a lot of special ingredients in the royal kitchen have been disappearing lately. I hope the son of the richest merchant in the country is not behind it. You... Min Kuang lets out a sigh of frustration and raises both hands in a gesture of surrender. Fine, I give up. Keep the peacock. You're no fun. I squint my eyes at this revelation. I once heard that crispy rolls made with peacock meat was a famous dish that stemmed from the royal palace of this period. I did not know it was a real thing until now. I wonder if that's what Min Kuang was trying to make. After the two men leave, I start heading to the library as planned. Arriving at the library, I'm greeted at the door by an elderly man in a loose teal robe with big sleeves. Greetings, Your Majesty. I am the eunuch who takes care of the library. What can I help you with today? I quickly scan the man in front of me. Eunuchs are castrated men who served in the imperial court, who held significant roles in the court and had various responsibilities. I have seen them in period dramas and from history books, but did not expect to meet one in real life like this. I'm looking for all the records about me and my family that exist in the library. The old eunuch bows down to me, his voice stuttering. I have noticed that many maids and servants seem to stumble on their words while speaking to the Empress. I wonder why. Maybe it's because the Empress is mean? Your Majesty, recently there was an unfortunate event of fire spreading in the library that destroyed the section reserved for the royal family. Do you know what caused the fire? Please forgive me, we haven't found out yet, Your Majesty. But since then we've added more guards to make sure the palace is safe and secured. A fire that destroyed a specific section. How convenient. Was this a mere accident? However, Your Majesty, we're able to save one book from that fire. Let me go get it for you. As the eunuch is about to run inside to retrieve the book, I hear a familiar voice from the corner. You looking for this, Your Majesty? Min Kuang, you are everywhere, aren't you? Min Kuang, leaning against the bookshelf, is holding a book with a blue cover with 2 fingers. Consort Min Kuang, apologies, I did not see you there. I shall let you and the Empress talk in private. Your Majesty, I shall take my leave. Wait. The eunuch can't hear me as he hastily strides outside the room. My neck stiffens. I realize this is my first time interacting with a consort in private setting. I better be careful not to expose myself. However, this Min Kuang man, judging by his appearance and demeanor I observed earlier today, seems to be a simple man. Oh no, he's a himbo! What are you looking for in this book? Min Kuang raises his chin at me. It's none of your business. I cross my arms, maintaining an emotionless face. Doesn't matter, I have it first. Advancing with an air of arrogance, he approaches me. His eyes scan me from head to toe, a glint of mischief flickering within them. Such a rude man. He playfully waves the book in his hand, as if teasingly dangling it before me. You dangle something else before me, why don't you? Tell me what you're looking for in this book and I'll give it to you. I tilt my head to the side, determined not to give in to his words. I am the Empress, I order you to give me the book. His defiant smirk widens, stretching from ear to ear. Oh, I like that. Your Majesty, Empress or not, you still have to abide by the library's rules. I borrowed this book first. Perhaps if I blackmail him with me knowing about him chasing the peacock, he'll give it up. Give me the book or I'll tell the court about what you want to do with the peacock. Min Kuang's eyes spark with amusement as he combs his fingers through his messy red hair. Tell me, Your Majesty, what exactly do I plan to do with the peacock? All this talk of cock is very intriguing. You plan to turn it into spring rolls. Min Kuang's smile drops as soon as he hears my answer. How did you know? Did Dantung snitch on me? Aha, I got him. I thrust out my chest and lift up my chin smugly. I need no one to tell me I'm the Empress. I know a thing or two. What do you think the court officials will say if they find out you're stealing my property? His eyes widen. Or, what would your father think? Min Kuang desperately waves his hand in front of me, signaling a pleading resolve. No, please don't tell him, he would disown me. Well then, tell me, exactly what are you planning? Min Kuang lets out a weary sigh and his chin drops to his chest. The truth is, I'm trying to steal the royal kitchen's recipes. Recipes? Dropping his gaze to the floor, Min Kwang speaks in a low voice. Yes, I want to recreate some of the dishes we have in the palace. Why? Well, I want to open a restaurant in the capital. But your family is rich. Besides, you're my consort, why would you want to work? It's not about the money, really. Min Kwang looks down at the floor. Oh, he's got a passion. Since I was a kid, I've constantly carried the weight of disappointment in my parents' eyes. My father, a renowned merchant, effortlessly excels in every endeavor he undertakes. And then there's me, infamous for squandering my fortune in the depths of the theater district, indulging in reckless gambling. He sighs again. But now, I want to break free from this cycle and prove my worth. If I can succeed in this restaurant business, maybe my parents will finally be proud of me. I study his face. Despite his arrogant and childish demeanor, he's simply a troubled rich kid yearning to earn the approval of his parents. This insight reinforces my intuition that he is not connected to the Empress's murder. In addition, the information I overheard from the court officials during the ceremony today supports this conclusion. Min Kwang's family is well known for being a big supporter of the Empress, making it improbable that planning her demise would be advantageous. Instead, it would only bring him harm. If that's your goal, I won't investigate any further. Now give me the book. He places the book in my hand. Let's agree that we're square today, Your Majesty. But remember, you still owe me a wedding night. Wait, we haven't done it yet? He mischievously winks at me. The implications of his word makes my neck stiff in annoyance. Why is he so brazen? Does this mean they've never been intimate? Well, till next time, Your Majesty. He places a quick kiss on the back of my hand before swiftly making his exit from the library. I clench my teeth. That touch was quite unsettling. It's rather unfortunate that I now find myself an empress surrounded by a swarm of men attempting similar antics. I retreat to my chambers, clutching the ancient book titled Records of the Vong Leaf Royal Family in my hands. The script used in the book is a relic of the past, a form of writing that fell out of use in Daviet in the 20th century when the transition to Latin script took place. That means most of the people in my timeline can't read them anymore. Thankfully, my childhood fascination with languages has equipped me with the foundational knowledge to decipher this script. While it may take a long time to fully comprehend its contents, I feel confident in my ability to grasp the majority of the information without assistance. Turning the pages, I skip past the accounts of distant ancestors eager to delve into the origins of this dynasty. The Vong dynasty was established in the year 1800 by Emperor Vong Lilong, marking the beginning of a new era in Daviet's history. Under Emperor Lilong's rule, the dynasty would flourish and leave a lasting impact on the country's development and culture. This must be the Empress's father. His military prowess led to numerous victories in battles against the Shangpai, continuously expanding Daviet's territory. I learned about this at school. Shangpai was a neighboring country in the south that eventually got absorbed by Daviet. Emperor Lilong had two children, former Crown Prince Vong Lifeng and Princess Vong Lifam. Tragically, Crown Prince Lifeng met an untimely demise at the young age of 15 from an accident. Former Crown Prince, she had a brother. Emperor Lilong, faced with the absence of a male heir to succeed him, named Princess Lifam as the Crown Princess. Princess Lifam was renowned for her remarkable mastery of martial arts and intellectual pursuits since her childhood. However, traditionalists staunchly upheld the belief that the throne should remain solely in the hands of men. Ew! And they voiced their dissent loudly and publicly. This makes sense as high society is highly patriarchal and women are viewed as inferior. In addition, concerns raised by the people in the country about Princess Lifam's ascension to the throne were rooted in an ominous prophecy delivered by a priest before her birth. According to the prophecy, the princess was believed to be cursed with dark magic. A curse. Dark magic? A curse? Are they suggesting the involvement of a mystical force or magic? I flip to the next page. My heart sinks when I notice that the next few pages have been torn out. Oh, mysterious! As I scour the pages of the book, I find no other mention of the prophecy or curse that was attributed to Princess Lifam. In modern times, the people of Daviet still maintain the tradition of worshipping ancestors and certain deities. However, I've always been skeptical of supernatural phenomena and dismissive of such beliefs. Yet confronted with the inexplicable circumstances that have transported me to this world, I cannot help but wonder if it's possible that some form of magic or otherworldly influences brought me here against my will. I hurriedly turn the page to find the dedicated section for Empress Lifam. At the beginning of the section, I see an ink portrait that makes my mouth fall open. That's straight up just me! It's a portrait of myself, or rather, Empress Lifam. How is it possible that we look exactly alike? What's even more strange is according to this record, We share the same birthday and she is the same age as me now. Through her exceptional leadership, Empress La Femme emerged victorious in the ultimate battle with the Shangpai capital dynasty, bringing an end to a 2-century-long war between the two nations. This triumph not only secured the incorporation of Shangpai into Daviet, but also played a pivotal role in influencing the Emperor's decision to designate her as the rightful heir to the throne. Thus, Princess La Femme became the country's first female ruler, leaving an indelible mark on history. While I personally hold a stance against any form of warfare, I cannot deny the fact that Empress La Femme's achievements make her truly remarkable and a formidable woman. I continue to peruse through the record book. It appears that her section is incomplete as she is still alive now and history is still being written. However, my eyes are drawn to a paragraph at the end. Empress La Femme had been betrothed to Than Tung, whoa! The eldest son of the Nguyen Than family, since she was only 6 years old. It is widely known that Than Tung was declared to be the prince consort, making their union even more significant. Than Tung. Considering his family background and historical context, this arrangement seems logical. However, judging from my interactions with him, their relationship appears strained. Could he have any motive to harm her? Suddenly my knee collides with a wooden object beneath the table where I'm seated. I bend down to inspect it, noticing a meticulously carved square shape. What is this? Intrigued, I press on the shape, causing a hidden compartment to spring open from the desk. Despite having thoroughly searched this room before, I had overlooked this hidden place. Inside the compartment, a collection of small delicate papers with ink written on them lie, and I pick one up. To my Empress. In the tranquil embrace of the starlit night, I find solace in your beauty, pure and bright. Like the gentle breeze that caresses the trees, your presence a soothing melody that puts my heart at ease. These are love poems addressed to the Empress. There are no names or indication of the sender's identity. I wonder if these verses originated from one of her consorts, and if so, from whom they might have come. Your Majesty, someone is looking for you. Wait, not right now, I'm reading my smutty letters. The sound of Lan's breath, heavy and rapid, fills the room along with the echoing footsteps. I told you I needed time alone to read and no one could come in. I apologize, Your Majesty, but it's... The room catches a gust of wind as a figure dressed in white steps in. Hello? Lan Tung gives a polite bow to me. Apologies for finding you this late, Your Majesty, but I'm here with an important reminder. Speak of the devil. I have come to remind you of your obligation to attend the Imperial Court tomorrow morning. In your absence over the past few days, chaos has gripped the court. Please do not forget your duties and responsibilities as a ruler. His words flow from his lips with the absence of any eye contact, his voice carrying an air of polite detachment. I furrow my brows. The day I've been finally dreading arrives. Now, because I'm the Empress, I'm obliged to involve myself in court affairs. However, I have no prior experience in politics, let alone governing an entire nation. Yes, I understand. Then I shall take my leave. I will come and escort you to the throne room in the morning. Than Tung's presence suddenly reminds me of the record of the Empress's heritage. If they are childhood friends, perhaps he knows about the curse mentioned in the book. I wonder if I ask him about it, would he suspect that I'm not her? This might get me killed, but oh well. Maybe if I use the excuse that my head hurts from the accident, he won't suspect me at all. Wait, before you leave, I have a question. Yes, Your Majesty? I have been thinking about potential threats and opposition from outside against my ruling, and I wonder if you know anything about a curse that I was rumored to have when I was born. No, Your Majesty. I slightly tilt my head to study his face. His expression remains icy, his gaze avoiding mine. I am unable to detect if he's telling the truth or not. I sigh. I suppose I'll need to find another way to learn more about this curse. Okay, you can go now. He bows respectfully before swiftly exiting the room without even looking at me. What happened between us? I thought we were supposed to be married and stuff, and now he seems to hate me. What did I do? I wrinkle my nose at his shadow before leaving the room. Why is this man so cold? I wonder what happened between him and the Empress. I shift my gaze towards Lan, who is standing with one hand clutching the other, eyes fixed on the floor. Over the past few days, our interactions have revealed that Lan bears a striking resemblance to my friend Dao, not only in appearance but also in her demeanor. Strangely, I have an unexplainable sense that she poses no threat, and I believe I can use her for my investigation, as long as I safeguard my true identity. Lan, how much do you know about Than Tung? Majesty, why are you asking? He's your... I forgot. Your head. Clearing her throat, she begins to talk. Consort Than Tung holds a high rank in the court, even though he is technically your consort. His family is close friends with the former emperor, your father, and he grew up with you. He's not only an honorable man, but also the most sought-after man in the capital. While speaking, Lan's eyes slightly sparkle up like she's talking about an idol. There's a rumor that women from all over the palace line up every day just to catch a glimpse of him. I mean, he is very pretty. but he insisted on being a consort in the harem. But as long as I can remember, you and he have always seemed to be very... Please pardon me for commenting, Your Majesty, but you and him have always seemed very distant. And you have, never consummated your marriage. We've never banged either? So I was not imagining that some sort of conflict existed between Dantung and the Empress. Other people can feel it too. Perhaps he feels trapped within the confines of the harem, yearning for freedom and seeking solace in the arms of another lover. Lan's words raise intriguing questions about his motives. Why would an honorable man resort to such drastic measures such as plotting to kill the Empress? There must be a deeper, more significant motivation driving his actions. Nonetheless, tomorrow will be a good opportunity to find an answer. After Lan leaves the room, I let the sensation of the silky bed sheets swallow me as I sink into the mattress. My mind buzzes like a swarm of restless bees with a million thoughts when suddenly, a melancholic melody wafts through the air, emanating from a distant string instrument. This music, its undulating notes, both seductive and sorrowful, mixed with the smoky sage scent from the incense making my heart race. I shut my eyes, savoring the sound. Irrational as it may sound, it feels as though the musician understands me. As the night's darkness envelops me, I gradually surrender to sleep, allowing myself to be carried away by the melody. Where does this melody come from? But yeah, that was the prologue and chapter 1 of Who Murdered My Empress. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and thank you so much for watching. I am very intrigued by the fact that I have a lot of husbands. My favorites right now, definitely Wu Huyan and Dantung, who are coincidentally the two in the title image right here, so I'm like very excited. I find Dantung very pretty, and I'm very intrigued because he is like your childhood friend, so I wonder what happened. But also Wu Huyan is just like gorgeous, and I'm such a sucker for like, I don't know, men with like long hair. He's pretty. But yeah, thank you so much for experiencing the story with me. Who was your favorite consort so far? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss the next part. And also if you want to hang out outside of videos, I stream on Twitch 4 times a week. Feel free to come over and hang out. But that is all for now, and until next time, take care.